right, take your time.
I'll wait for a clock until I see a clock. I see a spinning. I see a spinning white line. And Leonard, we are live. Jesus says we were live for 36 or 37 seconds there. Didn't see that. Folks, a very good evening and welcome to this week's edition of the Chat at 8, where each week we have a member joining us for a very brief, casual chat, nothing too in depth. This week, you all know him by his tagline, Scarood Two-Tone, but his real name is Leonard Sullivan, and he's here with me this evening. Leonard, how the hell are you? Are you well in yourself?
Oh, good, Peter. Thanks for the invite. Appreciate it. Did you get me?
Not at all. Right, as I ask everyone, Leonard, where are you from? Yeah, gotcha. Where are you from? Where were you brought up? And where are you speaking with us from at the moment?
Well, I'm from Tramore in County Waterford. I grew up there. I now live in very close to the Kilkenny border on the Waterford side. And I'm well able for the slagging in the group because when you live this close to the Kilkenny border and you're anyway into hurling, we have 2 All-Irelands. They have 30, 36, 38, 36, I think it is. So, you know, just puts the Munster-Leinster rivalry in the halfpenny place completely. Can you imagine if Munster had 36 titles and Leinster had 2, or the other way around?
Yeah, okay, yeah, no, I get you. Okay, I'll get you. Right, as you probably well know, Leonard, I have zero interest in GAA or any roundy ball stuff. The only roundy ball stuff I've a passing, and I emphasize passing interest in, would be golf. That's it. But I don't even watch that. But football, soccer, GAA, hurling, no.
I have not really. Soccer, no. Gaelic football, no. I have to say I would have an interest in the hurling now. You know, it's a skillful sport, but you can't escape it. Like the guy that delivers my home heating oil has. Now, this is the funny thing about it. He's been coming to me for years. I know who he is, right? And he tends to chat about my 15-year-old young fellow who plays rugby, hurling, soccer. And one day he gave me a bit of advice. He said, look, he says, I'll tell you, I used to play a bit of hurling myself, he said. So when he gets about 16, 17, he has to concentrate on one sport only. What he thinks I don't know is he was captain of the Kilkenny team for years. He has 2 All-Irelands, right? But the guy is so humble. It's like Johnny Sexton rocking up to deliver your home heating oil and go, give you a bit of advice. He used to play a bit of rugby. Tell your son to stay. You know what I mean? It's unreal. Yeah, you can't avoid it down this end. It's a religion with them down here.
Yeah. All right. Where did your love of rugby come from then? If you're surrounded by hurling and Gaelic football, is it just all sports that you like, or where did the rugby love come from?
I went to a Christian Brothers school in Tramore, and it would have been hurling and Gaelic football. And then there was a soccer pitch down the road from us, so we play a bit of soccer as well. But one of the teachers, when we were in secondary school, one of the teachers decided he wanted to introduce rugby. And he started, anybody interested? So we all went down. We just loved it from the start. Now, I'm a bit like prop forward now, but then I was a winger, you know. The years do that to you.
Oh, okay.
But I really enjoyed it. Like Gaelic football, played it, but it's like basketball on fucking grass. You know what I mean? It's tippy-tappy, you can't kill it. But whereas in rugby, it was full contact. You just hit a guy, enjoyed it. But it was very, very short-lived because we were training and learning the basics and what have you. And head Christian brother decided there's no foreign sports in the school, and it was pulled after a few months. So, but it just gave me love for the game. I think I would have watched, like, my father was very, very sporty. He athletics, he played soccer. He was asked to try out numerous times for the rugby team in Waterford. There's 2 rugby teams in Waterford. But when we were kids at that stage, there was only like 7 or 8 miles in the road was the local rugby club, whereas the J pitch and the soccer pitch were literally on our doorstep. And they were back in the days when family said 1 car, not 2, and you didn't really travel 8 miles to go to a sport, so I never kind of pursued it from that end. But I just those couple of months trained and learned the basics and what have you, kind of challenge matches. Really, really loved it. And I think of what probably 99 Ulster. I would have watched. It wasn't as much rugby on the television back then. You had the Six Nations, and that was more or less it. You know what I mean? There's wasn't the same exposure as there is now. 99 probably when Ulster won the Heineken Cup. It was a kind of an explosion. I was huge interest in it. Like always followed it. Then like I've Munster supporter, obviously. Probably started going to games about 2002. Then became a season ticket holder. And just went from there. Like it would be the sport. As I say, I would watch Ireland because I think it's a very skillful game. But rugby, I just have a passion for it. You know what I mean? I love like the Irish rugby banter side is just excellent. The crack, it's it's like a kind of a rugby family. Really enjoy it.
Well, this is it. This is what we try to achieve from the very start. My name. There you go. Come here, did you ever go to when you were watching the Six Nations? Did you ever go to any the Lansdowne Road as it was? Well, it still is. But, what I mean? Did you ever go to any games?
One or two. Yeah. Back then, yes. As I said, my father never. He loved all sports, but he played soccer. He was into athletics, played a bit of Gaelic football. He didn't really know much about rugby, but he'd watch any sport. And, as kids, you kind of, and it depends, as you say, what you're exposed to. But in later life, I think through my love of rugby, I used to start bringing, I was a season ticket holder, and we used to bring him up to Limerick to games. And he got a passion for rugby, actually. You know what I mean? And he just saw it from a different angle. So much so, like Lord of Mercy, he died during COVID, right? But he was got to the stage where he was sending me rugby memes, like, and kind of, you know what I mean? I remember what was it? Soccer is 90 minutes of players pretend they're hurt, and rugby is 80 minutes of them pretending they're not. You know that one. But he was delighted sending me this. He thought it was this is new, for the first time. But he really and he'd be texting me going, "Hey, did you see the match? What do you think of that? Do you think Well, I mean, he would have seen the likes of with me now, the likes of say Dougie Howlett in full flow run down the wing in Thomond. Do you know what I mean? It was and then we'd stay over the night in Limerick and a few beers and what have you. It was great, but he really got into it.
Well, would you go to a lot of games in Thomond? A lot of home games, or would you go to away games, or do you mix it up?
I used to. I don't. To be honest with you, I don't travel as much now because when the kids get along, finishing work on a Friday evening, and it's 70 miles from Waterford to Thomond, right? But it's a 2-hour trip, and the rest on Friday evening traffic. Then you're getting back down, and then when the kids were kind of younger. Yeah, they got to the stage where I'd bring some with me. Maybe, you know what I mean? I'll take one off your hands kind of thing. But my eldest lad he has special needs and he's in a wheelchair and stuff like that. So, he's an adult now. So it's kind of, so I tend, now and again, I wouldn't be a season ticket holder anymore, but try and get to games when I can and bring the kids and what have you. But so not as many games as I'd like to.
Yeah.
But look, that'll come around as well.
Yeah, no, that's, yeah. And what was the last game you were at? In Thomond.
I haven't been at a game in about 2 years. That was about the last game I was at. So I haven't been at an actual game. But I done the hard yards up and down that road many a Friday and a Saturday. But I have to say, enjoyed it. Great place.
Many a time.
Musgrave now is actually.
And
Go on.
No, go on. You continue. It's your thing.
No, go on. Musgrave Park. I know. I was just saying.
No, I was going to ask you.
Go on.
It's the delay. It's the delay. I was going to ask you, Len, when. Yeah, no, I was going to ask you when is are you? Do you have a game in mind you're planning on going to next?
I didn't catch that.
Do you have a game in mind that you're planning on going to next?
Probably not in the immediate. Things are very busy here at the moment, so probably not. But yeah, I'd like to get up to a couple of internationals now with my youngest. He wouldn't have gone to as many games as say I brought my daughter to and stuff. But try and get a few home games at home with maybe Musgrave Park and try and get him to an international. Maybe next year Six Nations or something along those lines, or a Heineken Cup game.
Well, you have the November internationals, but I suspect, I don't know. Would you go to one of them, the November internationals?
Oh yeah, yeah. They're kind of in the back of the brain there somewhere, all right. But I mean, if you look at it, just saying, we're talking about exposure. I mean, now you have the URC on terrestrial television. Go on.
Yeah.
No,
I was just agreeing with you. I was going, yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and you have the Autumn Internationals, you have the Six Nations. We had the World Cup. Disaster that it was. Well, it wasn't a disaster, but I still think we should have beat New Zealand. You do not agree, no? Do you think we
I do. Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's this quarterfinal fucking. It's this quarterfinal fucking pox that's on us.
You'd wonder, is it in the psyche a little bit? Do you think?
Could be. Yeah.
We had the beatings on them. You know what I mean? I think the game of the tournament was the South African game and the group stages. You know what I mean? The ultimate winners of the thing. I think we should have bet New Zealand. I really do. But yeah, it is that kind of hoodoo of the quarterfinals. I don't know. It's for them. I think we were at a level going into this World Cup. The whole, number one in the world thing. It's kind of a bit of a millstone around your neck a little bit. It puts pressures on you. But I really believe that we were primed to do it this time around, and we left it behind us. I really felt we did leave it behind us. We should look. That's sport.
Yeah. What did you? This is it. What did you make of your game against the Bulls there last week? Pretty impressive stuff.
It was unreal. It was excellent. Yeah, it was. It was unbelievable. Because in all fairness, casually looking at the thing, you were expecting a Leinster win and a Munster loss. You know what I mean? Now, in fairness, Leinster did put out a second string team, right? So, and you're going down into those conditions. But I was really impressed with Munster. You know what I mean? They were the Munster of old. They dug in. It was a tough game. They pull these fucking unbelievable games out of the bag over the years. You know what I mean? That they're going in as underdogs. But like the underdog, mantle always sits well with Munster. And there was no hype going down into the thing. I was delighted, thrilled, absolutely thrilled.
But Len,
I think what Roundtree is doing, I think Roundtree is good
Len,
for the club. Like, fucking, by Jesus, have we suffered?
So look here, you were us. You were Leinster in fucking the mid 2000s when Leinster won fucking nothing. We had that fucking Matt O'Connor fucking fella. Jesus Christ, what a fucking waste of space. About as useful as a fucking waterproof tea bag, that fella. Jesus
he
Christ,
was.
He's a load of bollocks.
I know. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but look, like we've had fucking Erasmus. What? Look, I know he went on to win the World Cup, but yeah. He wasn't the fit, and then then he inflicted that other clown on us. Like Van Grant, he's just like you called fucking Finn Russell a spoofer. This guy was, Jesus Christ. I mean, he just used to come out with the same deadpan expression after every match and go, yes, I'm just going, oh fucking hell. He was just brutal, and like Batter welcomed him. They really are. it's just I don't know. But no, I think Roundtree is good for the club. He's kind of breathing something in there. But look, then again, if we have a centre pairing there with Frisch and Ankerville, and if Frisch goes, I think we could be in trouble because it's very hard to get a centre pairing that actually clicks.
That's true. Now I'm gonna.
The two boys are starting.
No, sorry, Len. I was going to ask you. You brought up Frisch. I was going to ask you. We discussed this last night on the show.
Right.
And by the way, I'll just preempt this. Just to go back to the point you were talking about Rowntree. I think I've spoken to a lot of Munster supporters, Munster fans, lifelong Munster fans, and the one thing that they've all said to me that Rowntree has brought. Excuse me, the Heineken's repeating on me. The one thing that Rowntree has brought back to the Munster team that was missing under some previous coaches is belief, is a mindset that they can actually win games, and the heads don't drop, and let's fucking do this, lads. And this is what Rowntree a very important. He brings, if Rowntree brings 10 things to this Munster squad. A mindset, a positive mindset, is in the top 3. That's what I get from Munster supporters all the time. What do you think? Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, you even look at it when Leo was struggling there at the beginning a little bit, and then they brought in Lancaster, right? And the thing I liked about Lancaster is when he was with England, he brought humility to the English team. It almost made him slightly likable. the English team I'm talking about, right? Which is a fucking very hard thing to do, in all fairness, right? And he has that very humble way. And I thought it was a genius introduction by Leinster at the time. It was a very, very good introduction. And that's one thing about Leinster. When they recruit from outside, they always seem to get it spot on. No, fucking Munster have been inflicted with clowns like in the last number of years. But I know, look, all these things, Rowntree, the belief end of it. And then he brought in his Prendergast and Leamy in there as well, So I think there's a good panel there in general, you know what I mean? And players have to really buy into a coaching setup. And Jesus Christ, there's nobody in the world who's going to buy into what crap that Van Graan was. I remember, in fairness, even Rob Penny, going back to when do you remember Rob Penny was with Munster?
Yeah.
Penny was ahead of his time, in my opinion, with Munster. He was trying to play almost the brand of rugby that they're playing now. You see Thomas Ahern running down the wing, okay, and he's gathering the ball. And he's going over from a try from the wing, right? Penny tried to do that. I remember being in Thomond Park on the first games under Penny. And a crossfield kick came across, and obviously it was a pre-planned play. And Donegal Callahan ran down the wing. It was straight into the red basket, 10, 15 yards out, over for a try. He just was so out of place. He'd never done this before, you know what I mean? And the ball came down, and he didn't know whether to catch it or eat the fucking thing. And it just literally, he went like that, bounced out over the line, that was gone. And I think he was actually ahead of his time, and the players weren't geared up for it. But I think now, they're playing a better brand of rugby. But in saying that, defensively, we were a bit more than a little bit iffy at the start of the season, but it seems to be rein back in again. But then there's again talk of Leinster bringing in people from the outside. I hope the chap will forgive me, but Nianaber, Nianbar, whatever his name is pronounced, every pundit has a different pronunciation. But I think his influence was what won the game against La Rochelle, because their defence, Leinster's defence, was unreal. They were just much more solid. They had the attack. They were like the last couple of times against La Rochelle overpowered them. And I think his influence now is really coming through. We had him for a year with Erasmus. But that was a different story. We hadn't an attack. So we had a good defence under him, in all fairness. But I think, again, he's just an excellent signing for Leinster. You know what I mean? I think this might be the year you get over the line.
Yeah. Well, we shall see. We've the Saints coming up first. But listen, I want to ask you about the Frisch issue.
Right.
What I was going to say to you was that the rumor is, and it's looking like more and more likely as true, or no longer rumor, that Galtier is going to name Frisch in the French touring squad to Argentina. Now, if that happens, Frisch becomes an NIQ, and then it's out the door. I don't think he'd stay with Munster if that happens.
Game over, yeah.
But
yeah.
But who have you got coming in to replace him? You've Tom O'Farrell to replace him.
Yep.
All right, which is a fairly fair swap, fairly even enough swap. So what do you think of that? If Frisch does go, and no, but I mean, Tom O'Farrell is a bloody good player.
I'm not saying he's not.
Tom O'Farrell, whatever his name is.
Yeah, but I think it's how many look at Darcy and O'Driscoll. It worked. Both of them excellent players, right? But they had they had a connection. They automatically knew where either of each one would be at any particular time. You know what I mean? It wasn't even an no-look pass. They just automatically knew he's going to me left or right. And Nankivell and Frisch, I think, are starting to build that. Do you know what I mean? They're a good pair. You can look at we had Dale Andy, World Cup winning centre. He turned up every now and again for Munster. He had nobody really playing him beside him. And I honestly believe that you can have two world-class centres, but not play well off of each other. And you can actually have two pretty good centres, but have a connection. And then again, I suppose it's down to the coaching as well. But the two boys, I think, if given time, could be a very class pairing. But look, I don't know. We're not, from an Ireland point of view, like if you really wanted to help Munster out here, cap him. For fuck's sake, give him a cap. And then it cuts it all out and he gets to stay. He may not play in the next Six Nations, but he's part of the extended squad. We're not overly abundant in centres in Ireland. It wouldn't be. I don't think.
Len.
Yeah.
Len, capping Frisch will do no good. Look at John Klein.
Yeah. Well, that's true. Yeah.
Right.
You're just trying
and then if you're talking about building a relationship, no. We'll come to that because it's relevant and current. But then if you're talking about centre partnerships, if you're talking about centre partnerships, no, if you're talking about centre partnerships and building a relationship, yes, I agree with you. But a relationship between two professional players, can be built quite quickly. And the example I'd use would be Osborne and Henshaw when Ringrose was out injured. Those two now play again. So there's no reason why O'Farrell and Nankivell.
Yeah, I know this is true. Yeah.
Very, very quick. Like a very quick playing relationship. It's all down to the coaching, as you say, Len. It's all down to the coaching,
Yeah, I do think though that
right.
I do think Frisch has something about him, though. I think he can actually. Maybe it's just me. Likewise with Frawley. I think Frawley has something. I'd often be discussing it on the side. I think Frawley has something. I think Frawley could be very good. Now I could be completely wrong. Maybe what I know about rugby could write in the back of a postage stamp. But there are certain players. I think given time they could actually turn out to be. I think Frisch has and he's not that young, you know what I mean? But he's not that long in the tooth either. I'd like to see him stay at Munster, but look, what will be, and that's that. You know what I mean? We can't, just kind of hope for the best. But yeah, if he's named to go to Argentina, that will be the end of it.
Yeah. True. Now, I just wanted to, but we're coming on to the Snyman issue, okay? Right. We're coming on to it. Let's talk about it. Ronan O'Gara in today's Irish Examiner of Sport. I put a post up earlier about this, and Ronan O'Gara, I'll quote him for you. He said, "When Leinster can sign one of Munster's biggest assets, it is, not to put too fine a point on it, the biggest kick in the bollocks for a province since the game went pro."
Hey, that's Rog. Gotta love the guy. I actually.
Well, I mean, like, he's not your big. Len, hold on one sec. He's not your biggest asset. How many fucking games has he played? He's not your biggest asset. How many games has he played for you?
No, it's again, it's circumstance. Once Klein went and played for South Africa, once he went over for the World Cup, that was the end of that. We can't have the two of them. So one of them had to leave. Munster chose to keep Klein. So I mean, that's it. The decision was made, and Snyman is free to go wherever he wants. And look, I can see what, like, some people will take the point of view that, for fuck's sake, Munster rehabbed him all this time. He's played, you know what I mean? Fucking right, you know. Has he played fucking 300 minutes for us or whatever it is? I don't actually fucking know at this stage. But people could take the view as, you know, we've stuck by him for this, but that's not actually the case. Munster chose to hang on to Klein, full stop, and we can't have the two of them. So they made their choice, and that's that. So where he goes after that, then, you know, it's up to himself. You know, it's just you have to look at the reality of the situation. We made the choice to keep Klein, and that's that. You know what I mean? If we wanted to keep Snyman, why didn't we keep Snyman and release Klein? We didn't.
But there you go. And come here. I'll also say, this will be the end of this, because there's other stuff I want to have a chat with you about.
Mm-hmm.
On that post, right? You can see it yourself. It's in the group on that post. A quite obvious Munster fan. His name is Anthony Devitt. He replied to the post and he said, "I can't believe this is still being talked about. Once Munster were releasing him, he was entitled to go wherever he wanted. And if you're happy in Ireland, then why not Leinster? It is what it is." And that's kind of what you're saying, Len, as well, as a Munster supporter.
Yeah. I'm gutted to see the guy go, because he's, as I said, I think I said in the post there during the week there after the win against the Bulls, you know, the guy, his power, his offloads, the whole lot. He is a fucking fantastic asset to any team, all right? We'd love him to stay here, but, like, it's the board made a decision, whoever made the decision to keep Klein, and that was that, end of story. And there's nothing we can do about it. Those are the rules, you know what I mean? With the non-Irish qualified players, that's it. You just have to live by
it. I tell you, that's it. I tell you, then I passed him and said a brief hello to him, Snyman, in Dublin. I met him. He was walking Dunleary Pier. The man is fucking massive. I'm 6'3" now, and I was looking up at him. He's fucking huge.
Maybe that's why they dropped him in his first game.
Fucking there you go. Now, come here to me. Another thing, and a very important thing, and it doesn't just affect Munster. It affects the Irish. It affects the national squad. You, Munster. I was reading this and I was trying to understand it properly, and I kind of do and I kind of don't. The IRFU have refused permission to sign a non-Irish qualified loose head. Now, if I look at who you guys have in that position at the moment, well, let's have a look at jobs. You've got Kilcoyne, who's 35, made his debut in 2012. You have Archer, well, he's a tight head, but he's getting on in years. You've Ollie Jaeger, he's a loose head. You have Lockman, you've Wycherley, they're loose heads. You have Knox and you have John Ryan. Now, I would say Kilcoyne and Archer are kind of in their twilight years, shall we say. I'm not being unfair to them, but age-wise and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Where are the props going to come from? Not just for Munster, but for the Irish team.
Yeah, look at this. I have no idea. I really don't. Like Jaeger, in fairness, was not exactly 100% sold on him yet. He's put in pretty good performances, but like at this stage, beggars can't be choosers. You said a lot of lads behind us. They're in the twilight years. You know what I mean? It's a worry. Like, I mean, if you think all these things are going cycles, and there was a stage where the whole pack was Munster for Ireland. Do you know what I mean? And now it's the opposite. It's Leinster now are providing the forwards for Ireland. It's cyclical. It changes over the years. And the only thing is, when we get back there, I know there's been discussions on the group and stuff about the school system. And a lot of people have this opinion about the Leinster school system. There's more money in it. Okay, number one, Leinster have a bigger population to pull from. That's granted. But I will say their schools, their rugby schools, are very, very focused on rugby. Like, I mean, kids will send, parents will send their kids there solely for rugby, as opposed to a school that happens to also play rugby, say in Munster or Connacht or whatever. You know what I mean? There is a difference between those rugby playing schools.
Yeah.
Tungos and Blackrock and wherever, whatever, and so on and so forth. Whether they're fee paying or not, it doesn't really make a difference. But Leinster are now in a position where they have a conveyor belt, and you have to hand it to Leinster because they are nurturing from under eights all the way up. They're watching these players, but that's the only way to develop the sport. Like, I mean, a young lad there now last year was playing with Waterpark, and there's a young guy on that team. This was at stage under 14 or whatever it was, and he's one of these. Do you ever have a friend who played a sport and then decided, I'm going to play the sport you're playing? Like you were talking about golf, you know what I mean? The guys will say a fantastic soccer player, and then he decides next week he's going to take up golf, and in 6 months' time, the fucker's playing off scratch. Do you know what I mean? They're just naturally gifted. Like this youngster at 14 years of age, you can see the talent in him. You can really, really see the talent in him. And he can do that in soccer, he can do that in hurling, he can do that in Gaelic football, and he does it in athletics, right? But there needs to be somebody within the system to identify that. There needs to be coaches. I know that there's development officers with the schools. A friend of mine was a development officer in the Wexford area with the rugby, with the RFU for the rugby. And but it's there's very little of that down this end. You need to be identifying these kids at 13, 14 years of age and watch them as they come and get them into the system. Because he might decide to, if they're not exposed to rugby, you know what I mean, they'll go off and they'll play soccer, or they'll play hurling, or they'll play badminton or fucking basketball or whatever it is they'll play. So your school system is very, very good. There's a conveyor belt come through. So I think from an Ireland point of view, if there's loose heads, tight heads, hookers, they're going to come primarily from Leinster, and then they'll probably be fed down through. There will some come through, like you have, like there's lads coming out of Cork. You have the Coombs and Kildell and all these guys. Look, I'm not saying Munster don't produce them, and they are. They have been producing Crowleys coming up through. You know what I mean? We are producing young lads, not to the same consistency as Leinster have been doing it. You know, and it's worrying. Now there's a point here, and there's maybe some of the lads on the group could answer this. I've heard a couple of guys in bars over the years up in Thomond and having chats afterwards. And I've been told, and this is anecdotally, and I've also been told by a school principal in Tipperary that there's an animosity between Munster and schools, right? That they don't get on. I don't know if it's all the schools or some of the schools, but they don't want their players going to Munster, going for trials and stuff like that. Now, I honestly don't know, but I've heard it a couple of times over the years. There's David Sita would probably be the man. I actually meant to ask him on the group, actually, because if there is, I mean, that's a blockage there straight away. If schools don't release their players to go and do trials and training camps with Munster, what happens there?
I think you should definitely ask that question and see the reaction you get. And see what people say about it. That's what I'd say. I'd say you do. Now, okay, come here. Munster's next game is against the Lions. How do you think that's going to go?
It'll be tight. I think it'll be a tight game. Right. I honestly believe they'll have to put in the exact same effort they put in against the Bulls. They'll have to be at the same level. You saw what they done to Leinster. Okay, granted a second string team. Again, I would be hoping for the win. The heart says, I think we can do it. I think the head says, I think if we can play again as well as we played against the Bulls, they can pull it off. And I'd be hoping because it'll we're at the business end of the season now. Sure. So, fingers crossed. I think they can do it, I know, they can do it if we played to the same levels we did last week.
Well, of course they can do it. I mean, it's at the end of the day, but you can do all the predictions you want, but, when that whistle goes, it's 15 against 15. So, Are you there?
Yeah, you broke up on me there. Go on. Just try that again. You broke up.
Dan, are you there?
I'm there, yeah. You just broke.
Did I? Sorry, no. No, I was going to. Yeah, no, I was going to say to you that when that whistle goes, it's 15 against 15. So who knows?
Yeah, it's always 15 against 15, 80 minutes. Anything can happen in a game. But I honestly do believe. But I think the Lions will be very buoyed after the win against Leinster. They'll view it as a feather in the cap, regardless of what 15 went out against them. So I think they will be looking for a second scalp. Yeah. But look, we'll wait and we'll see. Munster have been in tougher places.
Yeah. We all, yes, that's very true. Yes, okay. Right, listen, Len, we're gone way over time. We're gone nearly 8 minutes over time. I've kept you longer than I thought I would, but it's been fascinating having a chat with you. And I want to thank you for your time. You're an absolute gent. And listen, you take care of yourself, and we shall chat online in the group and all that sort of stuff. Len, thanks a million, mate.
And look, I might see you at the game someday. Now that you have the press pass and what have you, you're above us mere mortals.
You never know.
Talk to you later, Peter.
Good luck.
Enjoy the chat. Cheers.
Oh, we just stop.
Good luck.
I'll talk to you soon, lad. Yeah, take care of yourself, mate. Take care of yourself. Thanks a million.
Bye.